welcome back to my video. If you're new, welcome. My name is Jennifer. Today we're going to wrap up all the books we read in June. Hopefully you guys are staying cool. We are in an excessive heat warning here today, and so it is very hot. So I have a fan going, so if you see my hair blowing a little bit, it is very warm out. I think it's supposed to be over 100 degrees with what it feels like temperature. The humidity is very high, and so yeah, hopefully you guys are staying cool. Hopefully this finds you drinking something yummy, and so let's go ahead and get started. Let's start off with some stats that I wrote down here for the month of June. So I finished 7 books, which is great, and so we'll talk about those here more in detail. And I read 2,631 pages, so it's a little bit more than my average the last couple months, which is great. And my average star rating was much better this month. It was in the 4s, which is very exciting, just over with a 4.14 average star rating, which is great. A much better reading month, much more enjoyable. And so I read 1 ebook from Kindle Unlimited. I read 4 physical books and 2 audiobooks I listened to. And so let's go ahead and start off with the 2 books that I did end up DNFing in the month. Let's get those out of the way for sure. So the first one that I'm going to mention is the James Patterson from the Alex Cross series, Deadly Cross. This is part of the backlist series that I have going on my channel. I picked out 10 books at random, and each month I randomly select the next book in that list to read. And so this one was the one that was randomly selected for this month. And so unfortunately, I ended up DNFing this after just a few pages. Didn't even read a full chapter. Murder, mystery, police, detectives are not for me, which is good to know. This was a blind date with a book that I picked up from a local used bookstore. And so yeah, I will be putting this one on. I do have a Pango Shop, so I'm going to post it on there and see if anybody is interested in it. So if you are interested in this series, check that out. I will put a link to my Pango in the description down below. And then the second book that I DNF'd in the month, unfortunately, was yet another nonfiction book. So this one is called Booked, A Traveler's Guide to Literary Locations Around the World. And I really thought I was gonna like this. I was very excited for it. And when I said literary locations, I thought it meant libraries, bookstores, stationery shops, things like that. But unfortunately, it's more about places of authors and or places that were used in stories and famous stories at that. And so literary locations as in like Edgar Allan Poe locations, and it's like divided up around the world based off of different stories and not locations like bookstores and stuff. So I misunderstood. That's my fault, my bad. I'm not interested in checking out the places that are in books or more places for authors that stayed. So that's just good to know. If you're interested in this one, I will also put this one on my Pango Shop. It is very gorgeous. It's very pretty, and it like has a map to those locations, and it's divided up by regions, and great pictures and great descriptions. So if you're really into the literary world and checking out more of those famous landmarks from like just as George Orwell or Charles Dickens, Virginia Woolf, things like that. And so yeah, so just let me know if you're interested in that one. But yeah, unfortunately it wasn't for me. And hopefully maybe there's something is out there. Let me know if you have heard of some place that like documents famous libraries or famous bookstores, things like that, and like a nonfiction description would be cool. So that is more of what I'm interested in, but that's okay. I gave it a try. And so moving on to now the books that I read. So let's start with the first one that I finished for the month was Faraway Inn. This was by Sarah Beth Durst, the author of the Spell Shop series. And this is a gorgeous book, very colorful, very pretty. I actually loved this one. This was my highest rating book of the month. I gave it 5 stars. It is a YA versus the Spell Shop is adult fiction. But yeah, I could see this one being turned into a series. As far as I know, it's just a standalone novel, but it is about a magical inn where different people, different creatures from different portals all over the galaxy and stuff, where they can go to this inn and get rest and recuperation and get what they need from the ant. But the ant is losing her magic to be able to support the magic that's needed for the portals. And so what happens when her granddaughter comes to stay with her for the summer. So it's very cute, very sweet, very cozy, very good. I liked it a lot. So that was the highest rating book that I read for the month. And then the next book that I finished was Big Little Spells. This was a continuation in the series. It is a follow-up of Small Town Big Magic by Hazel Beck. I waited too long to continue on the series. I really do like it. I do have the third book on my shelf. I'm excited to get that one. I'm hoping I'll get to it sooner rather than later. But this one follows her sister Rebecca and why she made the decision she did to leave the town that it's magical and she can no longer use her magic. And then what that means for helping with the current situation. And so continuation on in this story, and I'm ready to pick up where the next third book picks up. So I'm excited to get to the next one. This one, I really highly recommend this one. I gave this one 4 stars, so I really did like this one, and I love the black cat on the cover. Very fun. So I definitely would recommend that series by Hazel Beck as well. Moving on to the 2 audiobooks that I listened to. The first one was Nettle Bone by T. Kingfisher. This was a book club book for Krista's Patreon Books and Jams. And I enjoyed this one. I liked it. It was a fairy tale-esque story, fantasy story. And so after you get past the first intro of it and get into the real story, more delve into it, I liked it a lot more. I really thought about DNFing in the first chapter of the first situation. If you read it, you know. But yeah, so if you are just trying it out, I would definitely push past that first chapter and continue to give it a try. And so I did finish it, gave it 3.5 stars. Did like it, but I am just not really into fairy tales or fairy tale retellings. I like fantasy, but more traditional fantasy, is that what you say, with like dragons or elves or orcs and like different characters, more traditional sense that way. But yeah, I did enjoy it. I'm glad I read it so we could have our great book club discussion. That was a lot of fun last night to discuss that book, and the community is always great to get to hear everybody's feedback. So I did really enjoy that one. And then the next audiobook that I listened to was Remarkably Bright Creatures. Oh, I also got both of these audiobooks from Libby, from checking out from my library. I wanted to read Remarkably Bright Creatures before I watched the movie, and thankfully I was able to do that. Now that I'm driving in and out of work more often now, I have more time to listen to audiobooks, which has been nice. And so I did really enjoy Remarkably Bright Creatures. I think I ended up giving it, 4 stars. And so I really enjoyed it. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, amazing, but I did really, truly, really like it. And I would recommend it for those that want just like a cozy fiction story following 2 characters. And so yeah, I'm glad I definitely read it before I saw the movie, which was great. And so then I did watch the movie shortly after I finished listening to it, and probably not the popular opinion, but I preferred the movie over the book, which is never usually the case for me. Usually I like the book better than the movie, but for whatever reason, I think I really liked the actors and actresses in the movie, and that really added something extra to the story. And so yeah, I did really enjoy seeing that movie on Netflix. So I'd recommend it if you like general fiction and yeah, the story of a person that is getting on with their age and getting older, and elderly story. So I'd recommend that one for sure. And so yeah, I liked that one. Moving on to then the next book that I read physically, Operation Bounce House by Matt Dinman. This is the start of a new series by this author. It is about a planet that humans went to colonize and then left them alone for many, many years, hundreds of years, and now Earth is going to take the planet back, and so they're trying to wipe out all of the current population with these different robots that are being manned by a lot of teens and people that pay for it on Earth, and then remotely taking over the planet, destroying everything in sight, people, animals, buildings, everything. try to wipe out the planet, and you have like 5 days to completely wipe out the population. And so, and how this group, so like community, actually fights back, and what that means and what that looks like, and who is there to help them do that. So yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I am unsure at this point if I'm going to continue on in this series. Once the next one comes out, I'll take a look and see if I'm interested in the synopsis or not. We'll give it a shot and see if I'm interested in the storyline. If not, I might be a one and done. We will see, but I'm going to keep this book just to have it part of Matt Denman collection on my shelves. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if I want to continue on in that series. We'll see what this next synopsis is like. And then moving on to the other physical book that I read, Ride the Spiral by Ben Young. This was my first book by this author, indie author. Follow their channel, Youngs and Restless, and so I really enjoyed getting to read one of Ben's novels, and how this one plays into the parenthood and are the lengths that you will go to help your child. And and it seems to be very personable to their family, and so I really did enjoy this one. I gave it 4 stars. I really did truly like it. I would recommend it. It's more of like a science fiction with some slight horror, but it's more science fiction-y. And so yeah, I did really truly enjoy this. I think I'll check more out by Ben. If you're into kind of like science fiction and what you'll like, the trials that families go to when your child is not classified as normal, whatever that means. But yeah, and so, and like the troubles that they're going through and what they'll do to take care of their child. So I really did like this one, and going into different hurdles with it and things. So yeah, I'd recommend it. I'm really interested in checking out more that Ben has to offer. So moving on to the Kindle Unlimited book that I read for this month was Evergreen Academy. This one was by Heather Schneider. I did also really truly like this one. This one was just a random recommendation from Kindle in those email recommendations that you get for options. And so it is about a magical botanist, and how the main character, she graduates from high school and starts community college, but then her biology professor actually finds out that she has magical botany powers. And so he invites her to the actual Evergreen Academy, where then she can be dual enrolled in the community college and then also the academy to study and learn about her magic ability. And supposedly each one of them has 1 or 2 kind of specialty magic capabilities, either like to have an affinity for flowers or harvest fruits, vegetables, things like that, mosses, ferns, trees, something like that. And so they do testing at the beginning when they first come to the academy to see what they have an affinity for. Well, when she first tests, she doesn't have any. And so what does that mean? But she truly has magic. So what is her true affinity? Is it different? Is it something new? Is it something old? Something they've forgotten about? And so it's very interesting to know what happens and unfolds as a story. I am going to continue on. This is of course a series, and so it's a fantasy kind of cozy series. And so if you're interested in like plans and going to college and meeting new friends and things like that, I would recommend this series. And so I'm definitely interested in continuing on with that one. And so yeah, that is everything that I read and listened to and watched over the month of June. And so this was a great reading month. I'm definitely glad it's so much better than the month of May. The month of May, I really struggled to find good books. And so yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this wrap up. Hopefully you stay cool. Definitely share what was your favorite read from the month of June down in the comments. But if you're not feeling chatty, let's go ahead and do some kind of what is it great, like saying something cool. So like swimmers, pools of water, whatever you're doing to stay cool in this time of year, definitely send those along for me. That sounds great. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.